Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock, and in this video we're talking CPI. February is nearly coming to a close and the topic's really been gnawing at me, and I really wanted to put more research in and lean into it, and I've been digging around and looking at a few things, and I think that I'm onto something and I want to share that with you, and I think it gives us a lot of hope looking forward from here, especially before that next FOMC meeting that we have March 22nd and 23rd, because the CPI for February will be released on March the 14th, and I think that's going to be a major market catalyst for us, and I think it's going to be a pretty big thing. So do yourself a favor. Down in the description is a link for Moomoo. By clicking on that link that I have for you, get this exclusive offer for up to 17 free stocks. All you have to do is deposit $100 or more and get 7 free stocks, including AI and BBI, 1 share of each one of those. If you deposit $1,000 or more, you get 17 free stocks that still include those 2 stocks, AI and BBI. Guaranteed. Last thing before we get started, if you want to hear more of my commentary and get access to exclusive content, check out that link for the Patreon down in the description. Come on over, be a part of the community. We'd absolutely love to have you. That said, let's get right on to talk about CPI. Alright, so I had to move myself so I wasn't blocking part of the graph, so I apologize for that. But I do want you to take a look at what we have. These are the 12-month percentage changes for the CPI. Not seasonally adjusted. So these will give us the year-over-year values that we'd be looking for when we look at the table for CPI data. And you can see that we have been dropping, and that's not really all that big news. What I want you to really look at are all the other categories, and all you have to do is pay attention to the right-hand side of the graph. So if I bring that down and put up food at home, you can see food at home coming down on a 12-month basis. Energy coming down. Electricity coming down. All items less food and energy still ticking downward for us. Apparel, down. Medical care commodities, down, but kind of drifting up a little bit on us. We want to watch that one. I'm going to skip over shelter. I'm going to do education and show you that that one is down, however, ticking back up. So medical care commodities, education, and communication so far, not great. I mean, I like food. I do want to see it keep coming down in price so I can eat more of it. Food away from home, finally ticking downward a little bit for us. Gasoline dropping way down. Natural gas kind of going back up. However, that was for January. I think for February, that's come back down again. So we do want to keep that in mind. Commodities coming back down. New vehicles coming back down. And then I'm going to go to medical care services coming back down. Now, for the 2 that I skipped, check out shelter. Ew. Go ahead and take a moment to throw up in your mouth a little. And then the one other one I want to show you is services. And they picked a horrible color. I'll put my cursor over it so that you can see. And really, I want you to see the right-hand side of the graph. So pay attention to that. And I apologize for the yellow. I can't change that color. But when we look at services, less energy services, and when we look at shelter, those are the 2 that are absolutely roasting us right now with the CPI. Now, that's not all I wanted to show you. I want to bring you over here to the CPI. This is core CPI, so less food and energy. And so this is looking at just the seasonally adjusted index prices. Big deal. Let's switch that up. We can see that it's going up, and we already know it's going up. As a matter of fact, it goes up over time. However, let's take a look at it when we do a percent change, and we can see where we were at historically. Pretty low, kind of bouncing up around 0.1, 0.2-ish for the most part. And you can see since the pandemic, we're elevated up from there. And, we can see the oscillation. We can see it's narrowing. However, let's drop to quarterly. And look at this. When we take some of that noise out by bouncing around so much and go to quarterly averages instead, we can see from the peaks, we are in a significant downtrend so far. And from these bases, we're just actually a little bit lower for Q4's average. So that's adding October, November, December's indices all together and dividing by 3 and then turning it into a quarter-over-quarter percent number. So in just a quarter, that's 1.25%, which annualizes. So you multiply that by 4 and that comes out to 5% annualized. Not great, because that's 2.5 times what we're looking for at that 2%. Remember, before we were rocking this is a quarterly chart, so it's going to show us a little bit higher than what we'd have for monthly. So we were rocking around 0.5% before. We want to get back down to that 0.5% per quarter. And right now we're about 2.5 times that. So keep that in mind. Now, what I have for you here is the graph for shelter, and we're going to do the same thing, is that we're going to take it from just the index values. We're going to turn it into percents, and you can see just that's what we were looking at on that other graph for Shelter, that we were heading straight up. And if we take out some of the noise by going quarterly, you can see Shelter is still pointing pretty much straight up for us. And on a quarter over quarter basis is still running very hot. This still annualizes to over 8% for an entire year. So this is what's janking us up in the CPI. However, with everything else coming down, if it does continue to keep coming down, even though Shelter is heavily weighted, it is something that really could help us out for February's measure. So we want to keep that in mind. These uptrends aren't something that are going to last forever for us. These are lagging indicators that we have. They don't show us what's currently taking place right now. And Jerome Powell said in the last FOMC meeting, when he came out and spoke after it, he said that they expect in the second half of 2023 for that to start coming down. So hopefully it's sooner than that. We're going to have to watch, keep that in mind. And then finally, we have services less energy services. So this is the other one that was spiking up on us, and you can see it's still kind of going upwards. This one's flattening out a little bit though. Let's turn it into percents. So this is what it looks like month over month, and it still looks like we're going up, not quite as heavily as we were for Shelter. However, when we turn it to quarterly, you can actually see not only have we actually flattened out a little bit, but we're actually not up as high of a peak for services less energy services like we were before. So it is possible that we do leg down again from here for Q1 for 2023. So the one thing that's missing from these charts, by the way, is January, because we're looking at quarter values. So the last quarter on here is October, November, December for 2022. So just that last quarter. So January's data is not on here. However, I have some other research that I'm going to put up over at my Patreon, putting some numbers together, and I'll put that up there along with my full write-up on the Patreon. I'm making an exclusive video where I hit the highlights of that, and I give my final projection for where I see CPI going for the month of February. And from that, we should be able to determine how it's going to impact markets. And as we get closer to that and we see where the markets are currently sitting, then we could say, possibly red, possibly green, giving these numbers that I found. And I'm pretty excited about the way the numbers are working out so far. So I'll be putting that out as a Patreon exclusive. You can come on over there. I'll have the spreadsheets, the information all gathered up for you, the write-up, the video, you name it. And then after that, I will bring it to YouTube closer to that CPI date as we get closer to March the 14th when that comes out. Mind you, on the heels of that is the PPI data that comes out on March the 15th. Those are going to be two big days in the market that I'm guessing are going to be major catalysts that send us in either direction right now until we know better which way it's going to take us. So that's what I have for you guys for this video. I hope that you really enjoyed my commentary. If you would like to hear more of that and see more of my exclusive content, come on over to the Patreon. That link is down in the description. Also, down in the description, grab that Moo link, sign up, deposit your money, get your free stocks. You're literally paying yourself there, and you're also supporting this channel and the work that I do in the process. So I appreciate it, guys. Hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and ring the notification bell to see anytime that my videos come out. I'm Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. We'll see you in the next video.